we living in a computer simulation? Do you notice any glitches in the system? Can we escape the simulation of a scripted existence? How can we hack the simulation to be in our favor? Ever felt like your life was like a movie? That's because it is. We are digital. I'm the coder of my life. Every wish I designed. Crack the simulation. Watch the universe align. Manifesting power. The world's mine to define. Fred Allen Wolf says in the beginning of the movie The Secret, I am not talking to you from the point of just wishful thinking or imaginary craziness. I am talking to you from a deeper, basic understanding. Quantum physics really begins to point to this discovery. It says you can't have a universe without mind entering into it. The mind is actually shaping the very thing that is being perceived. The idea that we could be living in a simulation is both a philosophical and scientific question. I first heard about this from the 1999 film, The Matrix. I was 12 years old. This sci-fi film is a full-on awakening ritual wrapped in black leather and bullet time. I love it. Thank you for creating. And I love Keanu Reeves and puppies. I love dogs, cats too. Okay, epistemology, the study of knowledge, how we know things, and how we can be sure of what's true. The epistemological skepticism idea is that we can never really know if we are living in a simulation. Everything we experience, our thoughts, our feelings, and the world around us could all be part of a simulation. We can't trust our senses completely because they might be tricking us. We can't trust our senses completely because they might be tricking us. We really dove into illusions in part 4. So how do we know what's real? If everything you experience is faked, like in a simulation, you might never be able to prove it for sure. The brain in a vat scenario. Imagine you're just a brain in a jar and all your thoughts, your feelings, and your senses are being controlled by a machine. You think you're in a real world, but it's all just a fake reality created special for you. Again, how can we trust our senses if what we're experiencing might not be real? I have personally tried out this theory when I'm working out, and I have always been able to run farther or faster or push out another rep every single time. Try it out. Physical 100, the Korean reality competition series where elite athletes, soldiers, Olympians, and fitness influencers face brutally intense physical challenges. It's awesome. Physical 100 highlights this: the crucial role of mental strength in overcoming challenges, the importance of mindset, focus, and determination in pushing the human body beyond physical limits. Like during the endurance task, Punishment of Atlas, they hold a 50-kilogram rock for as long as they can. It's wild. The winner zones out, breathing deep, telling their brain, we got this. The commentary on it is great. Straight mind over muscle, good vibes. The pain is just background noise. You decide what's possible. Mental resilience is as vital as physical strength. Physical 100 illustrates how success hinges on harnessing your mental fortitude, your mental strength. You can summon ancient power. You can cast spells of stillness. You can whisper enchantments to your nerves. Your mental strength, the power of your mind, is integral to physical performance. You can whisper enchantments to your nerves and slip beyond the veil of pain. You can absolutely do this. your mind, a powerful wand that will bend reality to your favor. Think for yourself. Check out this quote from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which has sold over 100 million copies worldwide, becoming one of the most influential self-help books of all time. First published in 1937. The majority of people who fail to accumulate money sufficient for their needs are generally easily influenced by the opinions of others. They permit the newspapers and the gossiping neighbors to do their thinking for them. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Everyone has a flock of opinions ready to be wished upon anyone who will accept them. If you are influenced by the opinions of others when you reach decisions, you will not succeed in any undertaking, much less than that of transmuting your desires into money. If you are influenced by the opinions of others, you will have no desires of your own. Keep your own counsel by reaching your own decisions, and let no one into your confidence except the members of your mastermind group. And be very sure in your selection of this group that you choose only those who will be in complete sympathy and harmony with your purpose. Close friends and relatives, while not meaning to do so, often handicap one another through opinions and sometimes through ridicule, which is meant to be humorous. Thousands of men and women carry inferiority complexes with them all through their life because of some well-meaning but ignorant person destroyed their confidence through opinions and ridicule. You have a brain and a mind of your own. Use it and reach your own decisions. If you need facts or information from other people to enable you to reach your decisions, as you probably will in many instances, acquire or secure the information you need quietly without disclosing your purpose. In Matthew 15:14, Jesus states, "Let them alone. They are blind guides. And if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into the pit." I'm creating this channel to build awareness. This message has messed around in my life. You do not have to pass through fire to reach peace. The belief that we must suffer to evolve is a leftover from collective trauma, martyr complexes, and old world spiritual dogma, the Dark Ages. In truth, peace and prosperity are frequencies, energies we can tap into. It comes through consistent refinement, looking towards the source, following the sun, deliberately choosing better feeling, divine love, thoughts, moment by moment, wasting energy frantically paddling upstream, anxiety, depression, drama, versus choosing the relaxing float downstream. Peace and prosperity are frequencies we can attune to deliberately. This was the whole theme of part 7, the top-down approach. I was over 35 years old by the time I figured this out, and I was pissed nobody showed me that if I only focused on what I wanted, peace and prosperity from the start, that all of my experience would be built upon a foundation of peacefulness and prosperousness. When that finally clicked in for me by reading a Christian Larson book, I felt like I was slapped in the face awake. Spare yourselves the trauma. Don't waste your life complaining and letting yourself get distracted off of your purpose by discovering more things that you don't want. Let's talk about it. I want you to be aware of it. Follow your bliss. Allow in the manifestations that you do want. Focus on them. Don't let Mara get you. Mara is the symbolic and mythological demon who represents the forces of temptation, fear, doubt, distraction, and illusion. Anything that pulls you off of your purpose. anything that pulls you away from awakening or your liberation. Not today, Satan. You can skip the fire and go straight to the light. Don't let yourself fall into the same traps I have. Keep your vibration high. Act for yourself. Keep your mastermind group minuscule, because your best friend is yourself. Your best friend is your intuition. Your best friend is the almighty consciousness that lives inside of you. You are the universe in a static motion. There's nothing lonely about that. Why be anxious and ordinary when the truth is you are infinite? Trust yourself. Think for yourself. Be yourself. Like how alien entity Abraham, channeled by Esther Hicks, says, finally, you just got to get really powerful and say, I am a very worthy person, and I need to start proving that to myself. I live in a universe that has a basis of well-being, and I need to start proving that to myself. I am going to stop arguing and justifying why things are not working out. I don't have to explain nothing to nobody. Here's where I am from, and from here on, I am quite clear about who I am. And what I prefer is, insert whatever your manifestation is here, being a billionaire. And I'm rooting for you. I am rooting for you with the triple rainbow. There is nothing wrong with wanting to get rich. The desire for riches is really the desire for a richer, fuller, and more abundant life. And that desire is praiseworthy. People who do not desire to live more abundantly are abnormal. And so people who do not desire to have enough money to buy all that they want are abnormal. You have an inalienable right to fully develop and express yourself along all lines. You should surround yourself with beauty and luxury. Be satisfied with all that you have. Why have just enough to go around when you can enjoy the riches of the infinite? Make friends with money. There are 3 modes from which we live. We live for the body, we live for the mind, and we live for the soul. None of these is better or holier than the other. All are equally desirable. And no one of the 3, mind, body, or soul, can live fully if either of the others are cut short of a full life and expression. It is not right or noble to live only for the soul and deny the mind or body. And it is wrong to live for the intellect and deny our body or soul. We are all acquainted with the loathsome consequences of living for the body and denying both the mind and soul. And we see that real life means the complete expression of all that we can give forth through mind, body, and soul. That's a quote from Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, first published in 1910. The body obeys the soul that commands it. Pain is a shadow, conjured, then banished. Endurance is the true alchemy. Same concept as brain in a vat. The suffering is just a signal. And by overriding the suffering signal mentally, you will unlock new physical and mental thresholds. Training your mind for reality creation, curating your thoughts to create your experience of reality instead of allowing your mind to react to the perceived reality around you. This conversation is not science fiction. I am talking to you about neuroscience facts. Neuroplasty. Your brain physically changes based on what you focus on. When you repeatedly visualize success, abundance, and wealth, you are strengthening the neural pathways associated with confidence, opportunity recognition, and goal achievement. What wires together, fires together. And our reticular activating system. The RAS is a filter in your brainstem that determines what information gets your attention. When you program it with goals like, I earn millions, your brain starts noticing opportunity, people, and ideas that support that goal. Things you may otherwise miss. You tell your brain what's important, and it listens. And think about cognitive behavioral conditioning. This is spell number 1, chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And spell number 9, affirmation. Affirmations work through repetition that reprograms our limiting beliefs stored in the subconscious mind. The more you repeat new empowering thoughts, the more natural and automatic it becomes. You're building new default thought patterns on purpose. And emotional rehearsal. When you visualize success vividly and emotionally, your brain releases the same neurochemicals as if you were actually experiencing it. Dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin all support motivation, creativity, and trust in yourself. This isn't fantasy. It's a preview run of success. No dress rehearsal. This is our life. Mirror neurons and identity creation. When you embody the version of yourself who already has what you desire, your brain mirrors that identity and it influences your behavior. This is how acting as if I am becomes being I am. Your identity is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The magic mirror spell. Here's a Winston Churchill quote. You create your own universe as you go along. The stronger your imagination, the more variegated your universe is. When you leave off dreaming, the universe ceases to exist. Mind magic, or what philosophers and scientists call mental model, how your brain organizes and interprets reality like an inner map of how the world works. We use these models to predict outcomes, make decisions, and understand experiences. It's a core concept in psychology, philosophy, and even systems thinking. Mind magic, the mystical power of thought, how what we focus on, believe, and or visualize shapes our reality. Emphasis on your intuition, your vibe, aka your energy, and the mysterious aspect of how the mind influences matter. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, the mysterious ways of the universe. The mental model follows mathematical patterns like hashtag 3power, hashtag 369 energy, hashtag sound frequencies, and hashtag electromagnetic spectrum, aka rainbow color wave frequencies, which we will discuss more in the next episode. So check it. You're not just chilling in some giant cosmic video game run by some alien programmer. Nah, you're part of the whole programming. You are not some glitch in the machine or a shadow on a screen. You are woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. The famous Werner Heisenberg quote, the separation of the observer from the phenomenon to be observed is no longer possible. Heisenberg is a genius. He was awarded the 1932 Nobel Prize in Physics for the creation of quantum mechanics, the application of which has, inter alia, led to the discovery of the allotropic forms of hydrogen. You are part of the universe, and your consciousness, the way we think and experience things, is part of how the whole universe itself works. Your thoughts, your dreams, your vibe, the way you feel the wind or fear the unknown. That is the universe awakening through you. That's the universe doing its thing through you. Like how we mentally build the world around us. Like how we see, how we feel, and make sense of our lives. That's the real simulation. Some speak of simulations as if this wonder were a mere illusion crafted by cold machines. The ancient seers, the whispering philosophers, they know the true simulation lies within our minds. Not metal and wires, but symbols and stories and vision. The way out is the way in. The prophet Tupac Shakur said, reality is wrong. Dreams are for real. Our perceived reality is a spell cast by our consciousness. We shape it with codes and with our perception, the way we construct and understand reality in our minds. This is a game and it's a ritual, a sacred mirror. And you are both the magician and the magic. Here's the math. The triangle of distance, speed, and time. In basic physics, the triangle is a mnemonic to help remember how these relate. D over S times T. D equals distance, S equals speed, and T equals time. So D equals S times T, S equals D divided by T, T equals D divided by S. Simple! In 1600s Newtonian physics. Now we are in 2025, where things start to bend. Quantum theory and simulation hypothesis. In quantum physics, time isn't absolute, it's relative. Particles only choose a state when observed. Hello, observer effect. Reality at the smallest scale behaves like code, discrete, probabilistic, and unpredictable until rendered. Now, let's take these facts into the simulation theory. We may be living in a sophisticated simulation, like a cosmic video game or a divine code, or something we just can't articulate through our limited human conceptualization. Our human understanding is limited. Our brain has evolved to navigate Earth, not decode the multiverse. And every model we create, math, language, metaphor, is a translation layer. Even when physicists speak of 10 dimensions or wave-particle duality, they admit we're brushing up against the ineffable, the unexplainable. Mystics have said this all along. Taoism, the Tao that can be spoken, is not the true Tao. Kabbalah, the unknowable, and Sa, infinite, beyond comprehension. Sufi mystics, God is the hidden treasure, longing to be known. Hermetics, the all is mind, but no mortal can comprehend its totality. So, if this is a cosmic video game, maybe we're not the players, we're the avatars, and our higher selves are holding the controller. The code isn't made of ones and zeros, but vibration and consciousness, will, and the game's ultimate goal to remember we're not just in it, we are it. This is the Neville Goddard teaching about the promise. The promise is not something you earn or create. It is already implanted within you. It's a spiritual seed that unfolds in divine time, revealing that you are God, not metaphorically, but literally. The promise is God's plan of salvation, a mystical realization that the individual is one with the Creator. The 4 major mystical events of the promise. Step 1, the birth from above. You experience yourself being born from your skull, symbolizing the awakening of Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is a metaphysical concept of ascended awareness, seeing beyond the material illusion, aligning with higher spiritual truth and purpose, oneness, embodying unconditional love, divine love, unity, wisdom, and higher spiritual truth. And this is regardless of religion. Universal love, living from the heart with empathy and non-judgment. Inner alchemy, transcending ego through surrender, service, and divine will. It's not about worshiping Jesus as a historical figure, but about embodying the same divine awareness and compassion that he has demonstrated. Christ consciousness is the human soul fully realized as divine, and you don't have to be Christian to access it. Step 2, the discovery of the Son, David. You realize that the biblical David is not historical, but your son, proving you are Father God, the God of the Bible. I am is you. The journey of the soul is not just self-realization, but divine reunion. When you awaken spiritually, you recall your eternal relationship with David, your spiritual son, who represents the embodiment of humanity's highest love and consciousness. Many of the Psalms are credited to David, as a side note. Step 3, the splitting of the temple and the rising serpent. Your body is split, and you see a golden light or serpent rise. A kundalini type experience, a profound spiritual awakening, often described as a surge of powerful energy rising from the base of your spine, where the Kundalini energy is believed to be dormant. The curled up snake at the bottom of your spine, often felt as a heat, electricity, or vibration moving up the spine, up through the chakras to the crown of the head. Heightened awareness or sensations at chakra points, especially the third eye, intuition, and the crown, connection to source. It can be life-altering, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. A spontaneous or intentional release of energy, an emotional purge of old traumas, fears, or emotions surface to be cleared, sometimes leading to intense crying, shaking, or laughter. Mystical insight, a sudden awareness of unity, your past lives, divine presence, or cosmic truths. Time may feel distorted or nonlinear. Physical feelings or effects may include unusual bodily sensations, spontaneous movements called kriyas, altered breathing, or even spontaneous yoga-like posture. And Kundalini experiences stimulate the brain and nervous system, a neuro-spiritual shift, rewiring patterns and enhancing intuition, empathy, and our creative expression. Is often likened to spiritual fire, incredible for transformation, but intense if unprepared. It can be triggered by deep meditation, breath work, trauma, childbirth, or certain energetic transmissions. Kundalini awakening is often described as a full body reboot on every level, mind, body, and soul. That surge of energy rising from the root to the crown is not just symbolic. It's a felt experience that can crack open dormant potential, suppressed emotions, and mystical insight all at once. Some people compare it to plugging into the universe, a direct line to the divine. It can feel euphoric, intense, disorientating, or wildly expansive. While it's traditionally sought through years of disciplined practice, like yoga or meditation, it can also happen spontaneously, especially during major life shifts or trauma recoveries. 4, the final step, the descent of the dove. A white dove descends on you, feeling the divine union, symbolizing peace and the Holy Spirit. The 4 major mystical events of the promise should sound familiar to you because it echoes the 4 steps to brew a magnum opus that we discussed in detail in part 6 and touched again on last episode in part 7. As human beings, we have limited understanding, so we recreate this message within our stories to portray a truth that is unique and profound to every single person. It is not given to everyone in this world to awaken in this age, but the promise is sure. Everyone will awaken. Neville Goddard. And the hero with 1,000 faces. Joseph Campbell's life's work revealed that across every culture and age, humans retell the same essential story with, again, the same 4 steps. 1, a hero leaves the known world. 2, faces trials, death, and transformation. 3, gains wisdom. And 4, returns to uplift the collective. The 4 steps of the monomyth, the psycho-spiritual blueprint of awakening, the personal message within the myth. Each person's life is the myth, their internal forces and spiritual catalysts. The deeper truth is coded uniquely for you. It's interesting how 2 people can read the same myth and unlock entirely different soul keys. No? So, today's triangle is today's spell of speed, time, and distance are only parameters and are not fixed realities. The triangle is more like a function, computed only when necessary, like loading a game environment. So when you're not observing something, it's not there. It's not there. The moment you focus on it, it loads. The first time I came upon this thought, it was like, yeah, that feels true. For a witch or a mystic, how this relates to magic, speed equals intention. Time equals focused duration. Distance equals our manifested reality. In spiritual manifestation, if we want to shorten the distance to our goal, either increase the frequency, our speed, or we will be required to sustain our intention longer, our time. Quick shout out to all y'all who subscribe, like, comment, and share on the Positive Animal Love broadcast. This triangle is today's spell. Spell number 10. The faster and more focused you are, the faster the universe renders your desire. I love that for you. And now meditate on this to blow your mind up. Time dilation. Thank you, Einstein. The faster you move, the slower time moves for you. Meaning, focus and energy literally bend time. Changing mind into matter requires feedback from the future, as well as what I call feed forward from the past. Feedback from the future appears to the mind as intuition and thought. Feed forward from the past appears as feelings and perceptions of senses. Fred Alan Wolf, PhD, Dr. Quantum's Little Book of Big Ideas, where science meets spirit. Our holographic universe. Everything you experience is a projection from a 2D informational plane, like a divine graphics card. And think of fractals and sacred geometry. The triangle in sacred geometry is the most stable and fundamental geometric form. 3 points create a plane, the basis of all dimensional creation. It symbolizes balance, harmony, and divine structure. Think mind, body, spirit, or past, present, future. Triangles are the introduction to Magick series. Is it clicking? Triangles are the building blocks of all higher sacred geometries, including the Merkaba. The Merkaba comes from ancient Hebrew mysticism and Egyptian spiritual science. Mer equals light, Ka equals spirit, and Ba equals body. Together, light, spirit, body, vehicle. A divine light body structure that allows consciousness to travel across dimensions. Visually, it's a 3D star tetrahedron. One upright tetrahedron, masculine energy, or humanity to God, physical to spiritual, the microcosm to the macrocosm, and one inverted tetrahedron, feminine energy, spirit to physical, the macrocosm to the microcosm, formless to form or solid. Fitting together, they form a field of light, creativity, and protection. Fractals are infinitely complex, self-replicating patterns that repeat at every scale of nature. Fern leaves, snowflakes, galaxies, neurons, all fractal. Consciousness itself behaves like a fractal. Self-similar on every level, micro to macro. The Merkaba is a fractal light vehicle because it reflects the same geometry found in nature and in the cosmos. It's a pattern that scales infinitely, reflecting your soul's multidimensional nature. It embodies torus flow, an infinite symmetry, like a living mandala of energy. The triangle is part of the Merkaba, a light vehicle for interdimensional travel in mystic teaching. The triangle is the seed of sacred structure. The Merkaba is its flower, a multidimensional fractal-based system of conscious movement. This form activates your light body, aligns your energy fields, and allows access to higher realms. Wow, astral projection and quantum jump. Here's the mystic equation. Many mystics say desire plus emotion plus imagination equals quantum command. Okay, let's take this caller.
So, you've opened the scroll, huh? The Merkaba, the star tetrahedron, the soul's vessel. But do you know what realm it's navigating toward? Because from where I'm tuned in, your world, it flickers. Like a projection. Like a simulation. The pattern is always the same. Distance, speed, time. A triangle. Sacred. Yes, but also a cage. If you want answers, stop watching the shadows on the wall. Turn around. Plato, he tried to tell you.
Once you recognize the triangle as a construct, boundaries set within the system, parameters, you realize you're not just watching the shadows. You're obeying a programmed geometry. And like the prisoner who turns around and sees the fire, start to question what's casting the light in the first place. Doesn't thinking about this blow your mind? This is why they call me H-Bomb. Plato composed this allegory 375 BCE, 2,400 years ago. Plato's allegory of the cave teaches us an understanding of how reality can be limited or illusory, much like a simulation inside of our minds. The world, how you perceive it, may not be the true world, but a mental model that you interpret through your senses and your thoughts. Thus, the mind creates a simulation of the external world, which may or may not correspond to actual reality. Plato's cave allegory also shows us how our children can understand more because their eyes are more adjusted to the light and not bound by past patterns of behavior. Children's minds aren't yet chained to the shadows on the cave wall. They see with fresh eyes, more open to light, intuition, and truth, less conditioned by fear, routine, or cultural programming. Their imaginations aren't limited by the way things are supposed to be, which makes them natural visionaries and even better at psychic visualization. They're closer to source and to imagination as truth. In your magic, this is key. Children, they don't need permission to see the light where others see dark. Plato's cave allegory and the Matrix both reveal how perception shapes reality and how liberation comes through inner awakening. As a dog trainer, I have stood witness to how irrational fears can be accumulated inside of skin. We are all spirit wrapped in skin. Dogs, when confined or under-socialized, develop a version of the world that's shaped by fear, limitation, and distorted perception. It's not their fault. When consciousness is confined, whether in a cave or in a nervous system, the world becomes small. What is safe or good feels limited. I have seen animals react to harmless objects as if they were threats, not because those objects are scary, but because their internal simulation says it's scary, but because their internal simulation says it's unknown, which equates to scary. Sound familiar? Just like us, dogs build mental models through experience. And when those experiences are limited or traumatic, reality shrinks. Here's the magic. We hold galaxies within our hearts. When you really stop to think about it, you know it's true. We hold galaxies within our hearts. It's magic. Like when a dog is gently exposed to the real world, to new sights, smells, textures, beings, divine love. Something shifts. The cave cracks open. I've seen a fearful dog step into a wide open field and suddenly breathe. The world expands, and so does their consciousness. Getting back to their natural way of being, doing what your heart says, your instincts, your inner truth. Perception is a powerful filter. Whether you're a dog or a human, you're not always reacting to reality. You're reacting to your model of reality. Know this about how your brain and reality play together. Know this for your pet and for others around you. Know this about how your own brain works. Love is abundance. Training then becomes not so much behavior correction, although that's part of it, but a liberation of divine love, a sacred invitation out of the cave and into the light. Trust, creating a reliable pattern, a history of good memories to draw from. We are storytelling, future predicting machines. Introduction to Magic Part 4, the triangle of what I see, what I expect to see, and what happens next. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Rene Descartes' the unshakable truth that survived Descartes' radical doubt. Descartes questioned everything. His senses, his experiences, even the existence of the external world. But the one thing he couldn't doubt was the fact that he was doubting. And if he was doubting, he was thinking. And if he was thinking, he must exist. It centers existence in consciousness, not in physical matter. It separates the mind from the body, laying groundwork for modern dualism. It echoes across the metaphysics and simulation theory. If reality is an illusion, the experience of thought is still real. If all else is an illusion, awareness is the anchor. We all must ask questions. Let's take this caller.
Yo, what's up, Earth fam? Big fan, H-Bomb. Been tuning in from like 3 galaxies over. So check it. The malicious demon first brought to your humanoid awareness through this vessel you call René Descartes. The malicious demon is real, 100% legit. It's messing with everything, making you believe your reality's solid when it's anything but. It's out here, pulling the strings, messing with your heads, convincing you that what you see is real, when it's actually just a massive illusion, a cosmic deception. So here's the big question. How do we know we're not just stuck in a simulation, playing out a reality that was never meant to be real in the first place? Trapped in a simulated world, one that's being controlled by something way beyond our understanding?
That's a powerful question. And it actually reminds me of American Horror Story Season 3, The Coven. In episode 13, titled The 7 Wonders, the witches undergo a series of trials to determine the next supreme. One of these trials involves descensum, where each witch must descend into her own personal hell and return. Self-created illusions, traps of the mind and soul. The concept of confronting and overcoming personal illusions or hells to achieve a higher state of being. The journey of self-evolution and the challenges one must face to leave a lasting, positive impact on the evolution of all sentient beings. We are all one. What benefits you benefits me. And the one who can make it out, who can see through the illusion, face their fear and transcend it, gets crowned as the next supreme, the queen of the witches. The character, Satan, declares in John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, published in 1667, the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. This is what reality feels like. It can be your heaven or it can be your hell. Each of us is inside a personalized text, a simulation layered with cosmic resistance, designed to keep us small. But the supreme witches, the ones who remember, who evolve through the pain, the chaos, and the distractions, they become something more. That's the path. That's the crown. To quote the Higher Consciousness Collective of Quo, the third density illusion is designed to be a maze of confusion, a hall of mirrors, in which each seeker must find the path to the heart amidst the chaos. The malicious demon, also known as Mara, aka resistance, gravity, the tempter, Satan, personified symbols to explain the feelings of illusion and death, desire, fear, and doubt, and ego. All the forces that keep us bound to samsara, the cycle of birth and rebirth, explain the unexplainable, the cosmic tests, the distractions, the illusions that pull us off our true path, the dragons you have to slay. The whole game is to keep us from remembering our true purpose, which is to evolve ourselves and to leave a legacy that impacts the evolution of all sentient beings. We are all one. We need resistance to become strong, like how we need gravity to effectively build our muscle. Surviving the trickery, recognizing it, and breaking through it, remembering who we really are, and doing the work that helps elevate the beauty of everything around us. The force that tries to prevent beings from achieving enlightenment, the dark side. Remember, after the storm clears, God will have a special rainbow waiting for you. Heaven on earth. Jose Arguelles, aka Val Botan, wrote in his book, The Mayan Factor, the resistance we face is the shadow of our collective forgetting. To evolve, we must remember our cosmic purpose and act in harmony with the earth and the stars. You are inside the illusion, a mind asleep, a world seen through shadows. There is a Buddhist expression that says, when a person resides in hell long enough, it begins to look like a garden. The real question isn't whether we're in a simulation, because we're all moving through our own illusions, custom built by fear, trauma, and resistance. Call it Mara, call it the malicious demon. It's not just about surviving these feelings. It's about breaking free from our fears and limitations. For the thing which I greatly feared has come upon me. This quote from Job chapter 3, verse 25 illustrates how our deepest fears can manifest into reality. Sometimes it might seem preferable for our worries to materialize and be dealt with, rather than to endure the constant anxiety of their potential occurrence. Interestingly, many of our fears never actualize. We often expend mental energy anticipating challenges that never come to pass. This habitual worry, paddling upstream, can lead to a diminished state of mind and body, draining our vitality and reducing our overall well-being. The law of correspondence teaches that our external reality mirrors our internal state. If we consistently focus on fear and negativity, we may inadvertently attract those experiences into our lives. Conversely, cultivating positive thoughts and emotions can lead to more favorable outcomes. I know this to be truth. I have lived it, and I feel its absolute truth inside of me. Slay your dragons of lack and limitation. Don't fall victim to their burdens. You got this, okay? The mind and body are deeply interconnected. Persistent negative thoughts can lead to physical ailments, while physical discomfort can lead to influence our mental state. This cyclical relationship underscores the importance of nurturing all aspects of our being. At the core of this connection lies the soul, the essence of our true self. By tuning into our inner guidance and following our heart's desires, harmony between mind, body, and soul is achieved. And this holistic approach fosters resilience, well-being, and self-reliance, and a deeper understanding of our place in the universe. By becoming aware of our internal dialogues and shifting our focus, directing my energy, tuning my frequency, using my vibration to align with the feels I wish to experience externally. This alignment empowers you to create a reality that reflects your highest aspirations. Let's take this caller.
Yo, this your girl alien superstar from over on the Andromeda side. Been cruising past your sector, tapped into the frequency. Y'all talking about thoughts, Merkabas, all that quantum sauce. Sweet! But let me ask you something real quick. I mean, they be coming in hot, feeling real. Should I believe every thought I think? Every word I verbally puke? What is the truth?
Woo! Thanks for your call. No, absolutely not. The mind is a receiver, not just a creator. So filter the frequency. Not everything you think is you. Thoughts are like frequencies flying through the airwaves. Thoughts are like clouds in the sky, passing, shifting, evaporating. Most of your thoughts are just static coming in or something on repeat. They're waves, frequencies, like cloud hands from Qigong and Tai Chi. The ancient Chinese energy art, gliding your hands side to side, slow and wavy, parting the mist, moving around invisible forces. Choose what thoughts to pass on by. Choose what thoughts to keep, absorb, and choose what thoughts you want to transform. Feet shift gently, a smooth, meditative movement to move around your chi, your life force, and clear off any sticky energy. Science has studied this and proven that this physical and mental combo, cloud hands, will calm your nervous system. It drops cortisol, boosts the parasympathetic system, and increases our flow state, our body awareness, and our emotional regulation. Cloud hands is self-regulation in motion, like you're dancing with the air, like you are the breeze. I can observe my thoughts. I can feel my thoughts. Then decide if they are a match. And I don't have to absorb them. You don't chase every cloud, right? Same deal. Thoughts are not guaranteed fact. They're offers. You choose what to cash in on. Some are signals, some are noise. Your awareness decides what gets in. Your degree of consciousness. Guard your mental space like it's a VIP, because not every idea deserves a seat at your table. Here's how you do it. Ask yourself, does this thought serve any desire or purpose of my future billionaire self, or whoever you want to align your future with becoming? Remember, the thoughts you absorb are the memories for your future self, the present, the gift, the promise. Do you remember yesterday? The mind is a receiver, not just a creator. So filter the frequency to your higher self. Not every thought you have ever stumbled upon has come from your highest version of yourself. I like how Billy Roberts words this with his psychic defense teaching that I found in his book, Telepathy, Clairvoyance, Mediumship, Healing, and Self-Defense. Activate your psychic powers. Anyone working in the psychic field should view themselves as carriers of light. Always be mindful that there are those both in this world and the next whose sole intention it is to stop light from moving into this world. See yourself as a soldier, constantly walking behind enemy lines, remaining ever vigilant. I cannot stress enough the importance of your belief in the exercises you use. Once the image-making faculty of the brain well and truly connects with the imagery you create in it, the subconscious mind then becomes programmed, thus encouraging the full power of the exercise to be released. These are fundamental principles of visualization and mind power, prerequisites for the process of psychic development. This is your free will. It is you who always gets to decide how you feel. It is you who always gets to decide how you feel about yourself. It is you who always gets to decide how you feel about your life, your painting. Even if everything outside of you feels out of control, you always have control of your inner wheel. You get to choose if you want to feel better about yourself or if you want to feel worse. This is what our free will is. Unbinding ourselves from the words, the symbols, and the situations that are representative of our fears and limitations. Being aware of the demon, Mara's games of mental dramas. Waking up inside the illusion and saying, nah, no thanks. I'm not just gonna play along. Finally getting really powerful with my inner magic and affirming, I am a very worthy person and I need to start proving that to myself. I live in a universe that has a basis of well-being and I need to start proving that to myself. I am going to stop arguing and justifying why things are not working out. I don't have to explain nothing to nobody. Here's where I am. And from here on out, I am quite clear about who I am. And what I prefer is being a billionaire. I am a billionaire, and this is my story. I am rooting for you with the triple rainbow. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. Oprah. Never allow your mind to wander untamed like a wild animal that exists on the basis of survival of the fittest. Tame your mind with consistent focus on your goals and your desires. Stephen Richards. We construct reality out there after the fact with hindsight, but become aware of it as a storyline, a history, even before it is completed. Fred Allen Wolf. Dare to be authentic, because the real power is in using your limited time here, this little window of your earth experience, to create something that lasts beyond your life, that lasts beyond your life forces temporary human illusion. That's the legacy. That's the evolution. And that's how we crown ourselves as the supreme. Looks like we have Ra on the line. Let's hear what these guys have to say about this. Hey guys, what's up?
This is the only plane of forgetting. It is necessary for the third density entity to forget, so that the mechanisms of confusion or free will may operate upon the newly individuated consciousness complex. This game can only be won by those who lose their cards in the melting influence of love. This is the game: to know, to accept, to forgive, to balance, and to open the self in love. This cannot be done without the forgetting, for it would carry no weight in the life of the mind, body, spirit, beingness, totality.
Wow, thanks for your banger insight again, Ra. The game, equivalent to the journey of overcoming illusions and distractions to achieve our spiritual evolution. The veil introduces challenges and distractions that serve as catalysts for our spiritual growth. Very cool. Thanks, Rob. And neurologists and cognitive scientists here on Earth do express their skepticism about the reliability of our human sensory perception. We talked about this in depth in part 4, who is in control. This skepticism is grounded in the understanding that our senses do not always provide an accurate or complete representation of the world. While our senses are essential tools for interacting with the world, neurologists and neuroscientists understand that human sensory perception is often unreliable in representing reality exactly as it is. Perception is shaped by numerous factors and is subjected to experience influenced by the brain's interpretation. The idea that what we see is not necessarily what is real is a fundamental understanding in neuroscience and cognitive psychology. Immanuel Kant's Phenomena and Noumena. The phenomenal world, the world as we perceive it, and the noumenal world, the world as it truly is, independent of our perception. You cannot know the noumenal world directly. All you have access to are the representations or mental models of it. Kant's philosophy suggests that the reality we experience is a mental model constructed by our senses and mind, which might not necessarily reflect the objective world as it truly is. And George Berkeley's idealism. Berkeley famously stated, esse est percepi. To be is to be perceived. The material world does not exist independently of our perception of it. Objects exist because they are perceived by a mind, and the external world is essentially a mental construct. Reality is a mental model created by our mind. Therefore, the world exists only in relation to consciousness. The external world is a kind of simulation in the mind. And Maurice Merleau-Ponty's phenomenology, the importance of the body and perception in our understanding of reality. Reality is always mediated through our perception. The world you experience is always filtered through a mental model shaped by your senses and body. My body doesn't just sense the world, it shapes it. My perception is an embodied simulation. filtered through my unique aura and nervous system. Reality isn't received, it's rendered. And Nicholas Luhmann's social systems theory. Our social systems, like language, law, and culture, create their own realities as well through communication and interpretation. We are bound by symbols. Their citizens are always interpreting the world through the frameworks provided by these systems. My social reality is a mental model constructed through shared beliefs and language. My perception is shaped by the systems I live in, akin to a simulation of social and cultural structures and constructs. And Thomas Metzinger's philosophy of mind, the self is an illusion, a mental model created by my brain to represent my body and all my interactions with the world. We are not conscious of our internal model of the world, but we experience it as though it were the objective world. The microcosm to the macrocosm. The self is a mental model of reality, and your understanding of the world is a constructed simulation in your mind, rather than a direct experience of an external objective reality. And all of these ideas ask, how do I know what's real? And can I ever really know the truth about our world? We must ask questions. Let's take this caller.
Hi, Harmony. I love you. Okay, so yes, I do agree with you that philosophically there is a high probability that we are actually living in a simulation. But scientifically, is it possible? Does modern science say yes?
Yes. Let's check out what Michio Kaku says in his book, The Future of the Mind. Using MRI scans, scientists can now read thoughts circulating in our brain. Scientists can also insert a chip into the brain of a patient who is totally paralyzed and connect it to a computer so that through that thought alone, that patient can surf the web, read and write emails, play video games, control their wheelchair, operate household appliances, and manipulate mechanical arms. In fact, such patients can do anything a normal person can do via a computer. Scientists are now going even further by connecting the brain directly to an exoskeleton that these patients can wear around their paralyzed limbs. Quadriplegics may one day lead near normal lives. Such exoskeletons may also give us superpowers, enabling us to handle deadly emergencies. One day, our astronauts may even explore the planet, mentally controlling mechanical surrogates from the comfort of their own living rooms. As in the movie The Matrix, we might one day be able to download memories and skills using computers. In animal studies, scientists have already been able to insert memories into the brain. Perhaps it's only a matter of time before we too can insert artificial memories into our brains to learn new subjects, vacation in new places, and master new hobbies. And if technical skills can be downloaded into the minds of workers and scientists, this may even affect the world economy. We might even be able to share these memories as well. One day, scientists might construct an internet of the mind or a brain net where thoughts and emotions are sent electronically around the world. Even dreams will be videotaped and then brain mailed across the internet. Then he goes on to talk about how science is reverse engineering the brain, enabling humanity the understanding of the precise origins for mental illnesses, thus leading to cures. Decoding the brain opens the possibility to create a copy of the human brain. Who we are. Who are we? If our consciousness can be uploaded into a computer, we can also toy with the concept of immortality. Our bodies may eventually decay and die, but our consciousness live forever. And beyond that, perhaps one day in the distant future, the mind will be freed of its bodily constraints and roam among the stars. As several scientists have speculated, centuries from now, one can imagine placing our entire neural blueprint on laser beams, which will then be sent into deep space, perhaps the most convenient way for our consciousness to explore the stars. The laser beam blueprint. Wow. Awesome, and is well within the laws of our known physics. Hashtag channeled alien entity? Check out this McLean's article from their May 2024 issue. Don't fear the neurochip. Computer chips installed into your brain to restore vision, reestablish function in Parkinson's patients, and return memories to people living with Alzheimer's. Check out Altos Labs, founded in 2021, who are pursuing biological reprogramming technology focused on using advanced cellular reprogramming techniques to reprogram cells back to a more youthful state, effectively slowing down or even reversing aspects of human aging. Altos Labs is assembling a team of world-class scientists to conduct cutting-edge research in the fields of genetics, epigenetics, cellular biology, and regenerative medicine. This includes scientists such as Shinya Yamanaka. Shinya Yamanaka was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology in 2012 for his groundbreaking work in cellular reprogramming. His discovery has had profound implications for stem cell research, regenerative medicine, and the broader field of biology. Yamanaka's work in 2006 demonstrated that it was possible to take adult cells, such as skin cells, and reprogram them back into an embryonic-like state where they could differentiate into virtually any type of cell in the body. This process involved introducing 4 specific genes, later called the Yamanaka factors, into the cells. These genes are responsible for converting adult somatic cells into induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs, which have the potential to become any cell type in the body, much like embryonic stem cells. Is this not incredible? What a time to be alive. Or have you also heard about the pig bladder ECM, extracellular matrix? It is a regenerative material made from pig bladder tissue, stripped of cells to leave a protein-rich scaffold. When applied to injuries, it recruits your body's stem cells, guiding them to regrow tissue instead of forming scars. In a famous case, a man regrew part of his severed finger using ECM powder. Skin tissue, even the nail, grew back. It's also helped soldiers regrow functional muscle after traumatic injuries. This tech shows how the body, with the right signal, can return to a regenerative state once thought lost. And Harvard scientists are studying salamanders. Salamanders are animals that can fully regrow limbs, organs, and even parts of their heart or brain. And since we all evolved from the same star stuff, the goal is to unlock the same dormant genes in humans. These creatures activate specific regeneration pathways after an injury. Harvard researchers are mapping how to turn on those genes in us using gene therapy and cellular reprogramming. It's early stage, but it suggests humans may already carry the blueprint for full body regeneration. We just need to remember how to read it. How cool is that? And check out these articles on generation of cerebral organoids from human pluripotent cells. Cerebral organoids are created by growing human pluripotent stem cells, such as iPSCs, into 3-dimensional clusters that self-organize into brain-like structures. These organoids are much more complex than 3D printed tissue models, as they exhibit some features of human brain development and even show electrical activity similar to that of real brain cells. Organoids have already been developed for several organ systems, including retina, kidney, thyroid, liver, pituitary, inner ear, kidney, and brain. Check out this article on 3D printed organs, an outer ear on a 20-year-old woman born without one. The ear on the woman's right side had been constructed in the real size and shape of her left, and researchers bioprinted a functional prototype of a pancreas in which stable blood flow was achieved in pigs during an observed 2-week period. A 3D printed human lung scaffold with 4,000 kilometers of capillaries and 200 million alveoli, the tiny air sacs that are capable of oxygen exchange in animal models, all with the goal of being cleared for human trials within the next 5 years. Scientists have developed a mobile skin bioprinting system. In the not too distant future, they anticipate being able to roll the printer right to the bedside of a patient suffering from a non-healing wound, such as a burn, then scan and measure the wound area and 3D print the skin layer by layer directly onto the wound surface. And they've gone deeper, 3D printing skeletal muscle that have been shown to contract in rodents and regain more than 80% of previously lost muscular function in an anterior leg muscle within 8 weeks. And a lab has successfully produced a 3D printed rabbit-sized heart. 3D printing has created laboratory mini kidneys and mini livers. Speculation is that in 10 years, we will have organs for transplant. That's amazing! And it's already happening. Muscle structures, multi-layered skin, bones, blood vessels, retinal tissue, and even mini organs all have been 3D printed. And researchers are using bioprinting technologies to 3D print mice brains from biocompatible materials and living cells. These structures may not have the full complexity of a real brain, but are designed to model some of its functions for research purposes, such as studying neural networks, disease mechanisms, the effects of drugs on the brain tissues, and someday brain transplants. How sci-fi is that? CRISPR gene editing technology is also another fun topic to chat about. CRISPR, clustered regulatory interspaced short palindromic repeat, is a groundbreaking gene editing technology that allows scientists to make precise, targeted changes to the DNA of living organisms. It has revolutionized genetic research and holds incredible potential for applications in medicine, agriculture, and biotechnology. CRISPR has the potential to treat genetic disorders by directly correcting mutations in our DNA. Diseases like sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, and muscular dystrophy are targets CRISPR-based therapies. It'll be used in cancer treatment, HIV resistance, and CRISPR has the potential to credit genes responsible for inherited diseases, such as Huntington's disease, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and certain types of inherited blindness. I first heard about CRISPR in the fall of 2019 from Netflix's Unnatural Selection, where biohacker dude was using jellyfish DNA to breed glow-in-the-dark mastiffs. He conducts these experiments in his shed using equipment sourced online and knowledge gained from YouTube tutorials. Glow-in-the-dark dogs. I'm not even making this up. Welcome to the new Earth reality. And the rise of quantum computers is going to blow CRISPR up. Quantum computers are real and are getting stronger. I read the book Quantum Supremacy by Michio Kaku. Mind-blowing. So good. This book introduced me to Michio Kaku's work, and now I am a super fan and see him everywhere. Sweet podcasts and Ancient Alien episodes. Michio Kaku, thank you for creating. Thank you for teaching. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Laws of physics say we can go through walls, black holes, quantum tunneling, the role of quantum superposition and interference. One of the key features of quantum mechanics is superposition, the ability for particles to be in multiple states at the same time. In chaotic classical systems, the unpredictable behavior arises from a feedback loop between different parts of the system. This could be compared to how quantum systems interact with multiple states simultaneously. Interference effects in quantum systems where different quantum states combine or cancel each other out. Quantum systems can create patterns of behavior that are unpredictable and sensitive to small changes in initial conditions. This is similar to how chaos theory works in the classical world. Quantum computers process information in parallel universes are placed in the cosmos. Check it out. The observable universe. There is an estimated 1 trillion Earth-like planets in the known multiverse. And let's check out philosopher Nick Bronstrom's 2003 paper, Are You Living in a Computer Simulation? His conclusion, yes, It is possible. As humanity advances in developing super quantum computers, several developers have already created successful prototypes. These next step generation machines are exponentially more powerful than current systems. With such capabilities, it's theoretically possible to simulate an entire world. So realistic that the inhabitants wouldn't even realize that we are inside a simulation. Inception, a dream within a dream. The leap from the three-dimensional thought to higher dimensional consciousness, like stepping out of the cave and into the light of the hypercube. Salvador Dali's hypercube crucifixion, unfolding of the transcendental aspects into our ordinary world. A metaphysical key in paint and paradox. The cross unfolds. Geometry broken open into a tesseract, a four-dimensional cube bleeding into our third-dimensional illusion. A tesseract, also called a hypercube, is a cube pushed beyond the known, a projection of the fourth dimension into our spatial reality. What the cube is to the two-dimensional square, a higher structure folding and unfolding in space. A shadow of a dimension we can't touch, but we can feel humming beneath the form. Christ suspended in the impossible, held in the architecture of the unseen, the unspoken, the infinite. To us, metaphysicians, this moment reveals a deeper mystery. Christ not as a mere figure of flesh, but as an archetype, an embodiment of divine consciousness piercing through the veils of matter. The impossible is the realm outside of logic, where spirit overrides the rules of time and gravity. He is not confined. He is crossing over. The architecture that holds him is not built of stone, but cosmic code, the sacred geometry behind all things. It is the Akashic matrix, the dream before form, the infinite scaffolding of becoming, unseen because eyes can't catch it, unspoken because language can't contain it, infinite because it exists beyond beginnings and ends. The hypercube, the tesseract, is a charged spell, a construct of higher law, a message from the architecture of source itself. Mathematically, the tesseract or 4D hypercube, the extension of a 3D cube, is used in higher dimensional physics and computer science. Symbolically, the tesseract represents transcendence, higher awareness, and stepping beyond the limits of our 3D perception. A powerful metaphor in mysticism, awakening, and metaphysical philosophy. It transcends time. It defies space. It is a divine geometry spell that cracks the illusion of separation. The ancient lie that spirit and matter, self and other, above and below are distinct. We are one. This shape knows otherwise. It is a riddle designed to be felt, not solved. It is not a cross. It is a portal. The canvas breathes like a gateway, each edge a prism, each angle a prayer. This is cave breaking, sun facing, shadow burning, eyes split open. The veil phrase, the cave was a story, the wall a dream. Light floods in through the wound in perception. What we call real begins to glitch. There are more dimensions than names, more truth than thoughts. Something vast pulses just outside of the frame. Look again, deeper. It's already happening. Viktor E. Frankl wrote in his book, A Man's Search for Meaning, the perception of meaning as I see it, more specifically boils down to becoming aware of a possibility against the background of reality. Marinate on that quote a second. The first part of Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning is a raw, first-hand account of his time in Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz. He writes about the brutal stripping away of all external identity, possessions, status, name, clothes, body hair, and being reduced to a number. What remains, he says, is only your inner world, your attitude, your dignity, your freedom to choose how you respond to suffering, your freedom to choose how you respond to suffering. Frankl is a great writer. His inner positivity and natural charming personality is felt through his words. His core insight is that even in the most dehumanizing circumstances, a person can find meaning through love, inner purpose, or how we carry our pain. Okay, let's take this caller.
Yes, Harmony. Is your species even capable of conceiving such a construct? A simulation so seamless, so divine, that even the simulated don't know they are code. Fascinating and slightly tragic. Do goldfish ponder the aquarium's architecture? You're in it, sugar. Doesn't matter who built it.
Wow. Yes, we are intelligent enough. Go us humans. Moore's law and computational power prove that with the continual advancement of computing technology, it is absolutely within humanity's future capabilities to theoretically simulate an entire universe, or at least a very high resolution version of reality, as we create, study, and advance virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, like how we were talking about in part 4. In the future, as technology advances, theoretically, we could create simulations so detailed and immersive that they would be indistinguishable from real life. And quantum computing, the development of quantum computers, will provide the processing power required to run such simulations. Simulations of a complexity far beyond our current capabilities. As quantum computers continue to evolve, it will eventually be possible to simulate not just individual minds, but entire universes with incredible fidelity. And think simulating consciousness. One of the most challenging aspects of the simulation hypothesis is the question of whether we can simulate consciousness, the subjective experience of being alive. It's one thing to simulate physical processes and behaviors, but quite another to simulate the experience of consciousness itself, which is still not fully understood. My friend, the chatbot. This is an article from last summer's The Economist. The article explores how researchers are working to understand the internal logic of AI systems, especially large language models like GPT-4, by reverse engineering their decision-making processes through techniques like mechanistic interpretability. This work not only helps demystify artificial intelligence, but also holds promise for revealing how human cognition and consciousness operate, suggesting that by studying machines, we may better understand our own minds. We live in a regular physical universe where the laws of physics work as we understand them. Some things in the universe seem weird or like they were made on purpose, like how everything works just right for life to exist. But those things could also be explained by other ideas. The moon being placed just so to make Earth a haven for life. If you look at the world around you, everything seems just right for life. Things like gravity, the strength of atoms, the temperature of the earth, and so on. If any of these things were even a little bit different, life as we know it wouldn't exist. The anthropic principle says the universe is the way it is because if it were any different, we wouldn't be here to notice it. In other words, we exist in this specific universe because only a universe like this one could support life like ours. It's saying it's not surprising that we live in a universe where life exists, because if it didn't exist, we wouldn't be here to ask the question. The more complex explanation involves assuming that an advanced civilization has created this simulated reality for us, which adds layers of complexity like a simulated universe, the need for a supercomputer to run it, and simulated minds. Our consciousness, a pattern of information running on a higher level computational substrate, one that simulates our bodies and reality as virtual constructs, a brain in a vat. We could be simultaneously the simulated and the simulators, and the information loads to our awareness when we choose to see it, or the render on observation reality, like a video game engine. The simulation may only render what's observed to conserve processing power, explaining quantum uncertainty and the observer effect. And let's talk physics as programmable rules. Laws of nature may be code parameters. Gravity, light speed, and Planck constants could be adjustable settings rather than fixed truths. Time comparison and manipulation. Time is relative. Time may be running differently outside the sim. Paused, accelerated, or looped. We could be reliving the same cycle infinitely, explaining cyclical history and phenomena like deja vu. History's repetition may be a signature of simulated time cycles or encoded patterns that the system runs again and again. Have you learned the lesson? Experiment or entertainment? We might be part of a vast experiment, a historical reconstruction, or even an entertainment simulation. Purpose unknown. Whoever is watching over me seems to think that they are really funny. Do you think this is the simulation's design or a cheeky signature from the creators? Hit me up in the comments. I think the simulation throws curveballs to see our reactions, like a bet. This could all be the universe's way of reminding us to laugh through the chaos. Children laugh about 300 to 400 times per day on average, and adults laugh much less, around 15 to 20 times per day on average. Joy is a frequency. Okay, and simulations within simulation. Our world could be nested within many others, each simulated by beings who themselves are in a simulation. Where does it end? Also, the puzzle pieces of glitches and anomalies, like deja vu, the Mandela effect, or quantum weirdness might be bugs, updates, or signs the system is being adjusted in real time. One of my all-time favorite movies is Bill Murray's Groundhog Day. So let's contact the simulators. Are they our aliens? If we are indeed inside a simulation, then the creators or overseers might be alien intelligences running the program, or post-human descendants running ancestor simulations, or maybe higher dimensional entities beyond our perception. Aliens can literally be the programmers or system operators, not just physical beings, but consciousnesses existing outside our simulated reality. Now, this stuff is just fun to think about, like advanced rituals, math, numerology, and technology are out communication tools. Rituals and ancient practices are more than symbolic, coded methods to tune our consciousness to the simulation's frequency or communication channel, communicating out. We know that time can collapse and overlap. That's why rituals are so interesting. Rituals, repeated practices used throughout the evolution of human consciousness. Hashtag 369, energy, frequency, vibration. Mathematics is the language of the universe. It's the language of the sim as well. A way to interface with the underlying code or source. Please revisit our discussion on this in part 3, or in the view of quantum computers, process information in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Esther Hicks, channeling Abraham, says, you are the creator of your own reality, and you are the vibrational transmitter and receiver of everything you experience. You are like a tuning fork that, when struck, resonates at a specific frequency, and by your thoughts and emotions, you broadcast a vibration that attracts matching experiences. You are always in the process of sending and receiving vibrational signals. We are antennae. We channel vibration. Our bodies and minds, biological antennas, picking up signals whether from the simulation itself, other dimensions, or our creators. Our instincts and intuitive flashes might be ways our simulated consciousness tunes in to truths beyond the everyday. When you get a knowing or a sudden insight, it could be a kind of signal or message from the simulators or higher layers. In the philosophy of time, eternalism is the view that past, present, and future events are all equally real. This suggests that time is like a block where every moment, past, present, and future, exists simultaneously. And we are just experiencing one slice of time in the present, meaning that all moments are already written or exist in a kind of timeless, unchanging block. In this theory, what you experience as the now is only a perspective from within the block of time, and all moments, past and future, exist just as much as the present moment. A competing theory is presentism that states that only the present moment is real and the past and future do not exist at all. In a way, this could imply that every moment is new in the sense that only the present is real and is constantly being created as we move forward. From this perspective, each now is a unique and fresh moment that doesn't have a permanent existence outside of our perception of it. This theory also ties in with our sense of conscious awareness, where we are constantly in the present and each moment feels like a new beginning, a continuous birth into a new experience. The now as a quantum moment. Let's also think about the observer effect. In quantum mechanics, particles don't have definite states until they are observed. The act of observation collapses their wave function into a specific state. This has led some thinkers to speculate that our experience of time and reality might be dependent on observation in a way that makes each moment fresh and new. From a quantum perspective, you could argue that the universe is in a state of probability until it is collapsed into a definite reality by conscious observation, meaning that each now is constantly being created or realized as we go. Schrodinger's cat. We have to also talk about the new now concept in philosophy and spirituality. It's really hot right now. It's hot to emphasize that the present moment as the only true reality. The present moment is all we have. You are not the person you were yesterday. Be in the now. Eastern philosophies like Buddhism and modern mindfulness practices teach us that our consciousness and identity are not fixed, but rather constantly shifting. The idea is that we are always creating ourselves anew in each moment. We decide how we feel, and by being fully present, we are continuously evolving. When we think about how time, consciousness, and reality might function in a simulated world, like in a video game, the environment, the world, is constantly being updated or re-rendered. The game or simulation creates new frames of reality in rapid succession, similar to how time moves forward in our experience. In this context, each new now could be seen as the simulation's way of generating the present moment, just like the frame of a video game being rendered to create the next scene. If we think about it in terms of coding, the code behind the simulation could be reprogrammed or refreshed in each moment, making every now feel like a new reality. And in simulation theory, it's often proposed that we are conscious observers within a computer-generated world. The idea of being new every single now ties into the concept that each moment is a fresh experience created by the simulation. Our consciousness experiences this moment, processes it, and then moves into the next, like a program running and constantly updating itself. In this way, our consciousness could be like a player in a simulation where each new now feels like a unique experience, even though it's part of a bigger program running in the background. So if we're constantly experiencing a new now, it could be a reflection of how the simulation is constantly updating and rendering our experience of time. When I'm working out and I feel the resistance, I imagine my consciousness just being dropped into this moment. My consciousness being dropped into a strong, capable body mid-workout. What a wild entry point. Mid-run? Wouldn't I want to take this new now body for a spin? That thought always makes me smile and pull off the next few reps, or makes the run feel like I'm in an easier stage of it and keep going versus taking a break and walking it out. And also, from a quantum physics perspective, there's an idea called quantum indeterminacy, which suggests that reality is not fixed until it's observed. Some have speculated that if we're in a simulation, the program might not fully render or decide what happens until we observe it. This fits with the idea that every moment we experience is new because in a simulation, the world might be rendered fresh for us based on our interaction. If you consider that the simulation creates our reality based on our inputs or decisions, it aligns with the concept each moment is new and evolving, and our minds or consciousness are the active observers that bring the experience to life. We are new every single now. Can also be tied to the notion of living in the present moment. Many spiritual philosophers emphasize the importance of the present moment, the now, being our only true reality. In the context of the simulation, we could be experiencing each moment as if it were new because that's the way the simulation is designed to operate. The past and the future might not have fixed existence in this view. Instead, the now is continuously being created and experienced as a fresh, ongoing cycle, constantly moving forward in real time. Another interesting idea is that consciousness itself is emerging from the simulation or program in a way we do not fully understand. If the simulation is running its code in such a way that consciousness is constantly evolving and expanding, becoming aware of the now, it would mean that each moment could bring forth a new sense of self or awareness, even though that self is still part of the overall program. How cool is that? The newness of each moment could be a result of our perception of time and consciousness, where we're not locked in to a fixed sense of self, but are constantly evolving and aware of the newness of each experience, like a simulation that's rendering us anew with each passing moment. Just like the moon sheds its shadow, we are meant to be born again. And the idea that we are new every single now is tied into presentism, the idea that only the present exists and each moment is constantly being created. The quantum view that reality may be a series of collapsed probabilities in each moment, spiritual ideas about continuous self-creation and the importance of living fully in the present. Each new moment is a new opportunity for rebirth, transformation, and renewal. And we are never truly the same person we were even a second ago. Each moment is unique and fresh. Let's take this color.
Observe the design of the human biovessel. At its core lies a specialized transducer, the pineal gland. Externally, it is a biological organ to regulate circadian cycles via melatonin secretion. Internally, it is engineered as a multidimensional receptor. A cosmic receiver, it changes everything. It's the modem, the uplink. Your earthly mystics call it the third eye, the eye between dimensions. It's the admin access point, a vibrational interface connecting your simulated avatar to the creator's source code beyond. The built-in comm system designed to let you reach out across layers to the architects of this simulated realm. And every time you dream, meditate, or phase into stillness, trance out, you're not escaping the matrix, you're dialing out.
Yes! Okay, now that's interesting. So if our reality is a simulation, the pineal gland could act as some kind of interface between our consciousness and the simulated world, function as a biological mechanism that helps us decode or process the information encoded within our simulation. In this way, the pineal gland would be an analogy to the screen or interface through which our minds interpret the underlying code of the simulated universe. A biological antenna linking our consciousness to the code that governs the simulated world. It's true that from a biological standpoint, the pineal gland regulates our circadian rhythms by producing melatonin, syncing the body to cycles of light and darkness. But if we consider reality as a sophisticated simulation, this gland serves as an interface between consciousness and the simulation's underlying structure. Sleep is the system's reprogramming cycle, a nightly reset where updates, recalibrations, or informational uploads occur beneath our awareness. The pineal gland, sensitive to light and deeply tied to our altered states, could be the core hardwire allowing these processes to unfold. Just as a computer needs a screen to render information for a user, a monitor displays the output of a computer program, the pineal gland could be the screen through which we interpret encoded information, a biological renderer, translating informational inputs from the simulated environment into perceptual experience, a transducer for higher frequencies, a biological decoder for metaphysical data, a decoder shaping how we process time, space, and even the boundaries of ourselves, taking in the simulation's data and generating the output we call our conscious experience. Ancient traditions call the pineal gland the third eye, and it's fascinating and somewhat mysterious that long before modern science even confirmed its anatomical presence or function. Ancient Egypt, 3000 BCE, the Eye of Horus, a symbol of protection and higher insight, bears a striking resemblance to the pineal gland's cross-sectional shape. Egyptians used the symbol in mystical and medical context. In India, in Vedic traditions dating back at least 3,000 to 5,000 years, the Ajna chakra, or third eye chakra, located between the brows, is considered the center of intuition and inner vision, exactly where the pineal gland sits. Ancient Taoist texts reference the heavenly eye. China and Taoism, the energy cultivation practices that activate this internal portal for true sight, associated with meditative insight and cosmic alignment. And how did they know? They didn't use MRIs, but ancient cultures mapped consciousness from the inside out through deep meditation, altered states, trance, and breathwork, thereby accessing the Akashic record or the superconscious mind, the all-knowing. These inner teachings, these inner technologies led them to intuitively discover the energetic centers in the body, many of which align with organs and systems we've since confirmed through modern anatomy. They felt the presence of the pineal gland and understood its role as a gateway to expanded awareness. This tiny gland filters our perception, shapes our sense of time and space, and keeps our awareness synchronized with the rules of the sim, a kind of cosmic modem, a receiver not just for data, but for contact, a gateway through which higher consciousness, entities, or system administrators may reach us if we're tuned in. It could explain why practices like deep meditation, near-death experiences, or psychedelics temporarily lift the veil, allowing us to glimpse the architecture beneath the illusion. The pineal may temporarily bypass the normal filters, granting access to deeper layers of the simulation or contact with higher intelligences embedded in or outside the system. Whether biological or metaphysical, the pineal gland remains a fascinating point where science, sleep, and simulated consciousness converge. The pineal gland, the master switch, either awakening us within the simulation or offering a way to transcend it entirely. You are stronger than you think you are. The gate to intelligent infinity can be opened when an understanding of the in-streamings of intelligent energy are opened onto the healer. A quote from Quote, channeled by LL Research. I'm living in a matrix. Got the code in my mind. Hack the system. Now my dreams align. Manifested everything. I bend time. Click, tap, boom. Watch the stars start to shine. I rewrite the rules and got the universe's keys to the game. Now I'm living limitless. Ain't no stopping my flame. Winston Churchill famously said, "History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it." You are the creator of your own story. Now, I want to talk about the teachings of Abraham, channeled by Esther Hicks. Here's a quote from their book, Money and the Law of Attraction, Learning to Attract Wealth, Health, and Happiness. As you see physical evidence around you, very often that physical evidence seems more real to you than a thought. You say things to us such as, "Abraham, is this real? This isn't just a thought. This is really real. And my thought are two separate things." But we want you to remember that the universe does not distinguish between your thoughts of what is your current reality and what is your thoughts of imagined reality. The universe and the law of attraction are simply responding to your thought. It responds to your vibration, whether it is real or imagined, or whether it is current or remembered. Whatever evidence you are seeing around you is nothing more than the manifestation indicator of someone, and there's no reason to feel frightened or vulnerable because of what others are creating with their thoughts. There's no such thing as an unchangeable condition. There is not a physical situation, no matter what the state of negative degeneration, that cannot receive wellness. But it requires an understanding of the law of attraction, guidance represented by emotion and a willingness to deliberately focus on things that make you feel good. If you could understand that your body is responding to what you're thinking, and if you could hold your thoughts where you want them to be, all of you would be well.
Your thoughts build your world. Reality starts in my mind. And whether whatever I feel is real or imagined, the universe reacts the same. It just responds to my vibe. Focus on what feels good.
And my body and world will follow suit. Your whole reality shifts when you lock on to feel good thoughts. That's how my wellness flows. Keeping my mind on what feels and feels right. And everything else will catch up. A key quote from Abraham: "You are the leading edge of thought, and it is thrilling to source to be out here on the edge with you." I think it's really interesting how Abraham's speeches about how human beings are the forefront of creation, almost like they are envious of our current physical state. They say that they experience joy and our happy moments with us and through us. We are like the elite tech, organic instruments of source. You're not just a vessel to them, unless that's all you want to be. You're premium hardware running divine software. The universe wants to protect, upgrade, and evolve you because you're its most advanced interface for experiencing contrast, creating expansion, and collecting high-frequency data in real time. You are a cosmic asset. Of course, upgrades are available. All you gotta do is ask and align. Think about it. You're the result of over 13.8 billion years of cosmic evolution. From stardust to cells to sentient to self-aware intelligence. We are not a random design. The human brain, the most complex known structure in the universe, over 86 billion neurons firing, rewiring, adapting, evolving, and it's still upgrading, still unlocking capacity. We are not even using its full bandwidth yet. I am living tech. I am Source's custom-built interface to touch matter, feel emotion, make art, and alchemize contrast into expansion. That's why when you ask, you shall receive. You're protected if you want to be. You are being guided if you want to be. Because you're valuable AF, evolution's crown jewel. Abraham teaches us that Earth and physical life is the furthest, most focused point of expansion for consciousness. Source energy flows into physical form to experience contrast and expand through desires. Physical reality, not the ultimate or only reality. There is something greater beyond this physical dimension. Desire leads us to the expansion of the universe. Each person's preferences summon more life force. Our reality is malleable, responsive, and driven by attention and focus. Desire leads us to the expansion of the universe. Each person's preferences summon more life force. You are extensions of Source, experiencing joy, contrast, and growth in real time. You chose to come here into physical reality, not as a punishment or a test, but for play, creation, refinement, and joy. We choose or were placed into this reality for a reason. This physical life as a deliberate illusion of Source, a joyful playground designed by us for expansion. It's vibrational, loving, and purpose-driven. I'm breaking through the code, no limit in sight. Hacked the matrix, now my future's so bright. Every dream's a click, every wish is a download. Reality is a game, I'm on the road to overload. Got this system on lock, see me rise above. Manifesting power, this life is built on love. I'm the algorithm, playing all my cards right, pushing boundaries. I'm out of sight, infinite possibilities. I'm a force in flight. If we are avatars within a digital cosmos, that means you and I were purposely created. Same as the stars in the sky. Your thoughts, feelings, and decisions all matter. Be self-aware. Notice the details around you. God plays all of the parts. Know your guardian angels are present and command them to download information into you and ask them for miracles. I am ready to receive. The story isn't the truth. It's the vehicle for the truth. And as we awaken, we begin to see ourselves not as characters in the story, but as the author dreaming it all into being. Let's take one more caller.
H-bomb, LOL. So I'm pretty sure I know what you are going to say here, haha, but I need you to be clear. What do you think? Are we living in a simulation? Tell was Ace.
Yes! So be sure to ask for your genetic upgrades, plus the codes and hacks to make things easier for you. Today's theme song is Keep Your Head Up by Tupac. I was born into this world. I didn't make it. Here, Tupac names a deep truth. We inherit systems we didn't create, but we have the power to rewrite them. Things are gonna get easier. Please, you've gotta keep your head up. Things are gonna get brighter. And Ahead by a Century by the Tragically Hip, a Canadian metaphysical jewel. No dress rehearsal. This is our life, an incarnational call to action. Wake up! You're in it now. The track oscillates between innocence and awakening, painting a picture of someone tuned into timelines the world isn't ready for, ahead in knowing, yet weighed down by the present. The fever stream, vision state, where the veil thins and truth rushes in. A spiritual download under psychic heat. We smoke them out. Channels ritual cleansing, exposing what's hidden, burning off deception with light. Disappointing you is getting me down. The alchemy of disillusionment. It speaks to the karmic contracts of relationships, the burden of carrying projections, and the heart's journey through letting go of illusion. What we, metaphysicians, witches, call spiritual initiation through heartbreak. An anthem for the soul that remembers more than this life, who feels their own consciousness reaching forward into something luminous, yet are still navigating the raw edges of the now, even when the world lags behind. Also check out Forever Young by Bob Dylan, a timeless invocation, part lullaby, part blessing, part spell, a spiritual protection, and freedom throughout the journey of incarnation. May you stay forever young. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you always be courageous, stand upright, and be strong. May you stay forever young. Also check out Jamala's 1944 Eurovision Song Contest winner representing Ukraine. The song is a poignant tribute. We could build a future where people are free. I hope you join me in choosing to believe that positive thoughts are stronger than those of fear, lack, and limitation. I like this Fred Allen Wolf quote. You, in a very real sense, are holding all of us in the palm of your hand. You are the liberator of all sentient life forms. John Lennon passionately believed that peace wasn't just a dream, it was a conscious choice. Peace is ours now if we choose it. Peace is not something you wish for. It's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. War is over if you want it. John Lennon. I want to close our talk today honoring Audre Lorde, who lived from 1934 to 1992. Nearly 6 decades of fire, truth, and poetic brilliance. She was born in New York City to Caribbean immigrant parents and became one of the most iconic voices in the 20th century literature and activism. A Black, lesbian, feminist, poet, writer, and activist whose work was a powerful force for justice, identity, and personal liberation. Audre Lorde called herself a Black, lesbian, mother, warrior, poet, and lived every one of those roles as a form of resistance and reclamation. She showed how the personal is political, urging people, especially marginalized voices, to transform their pain into power. Her work teaches that silence equals complacency, and that speaking your truth, especially when it's uncomfortable, is a radical act of healing and revolution. Lorde taught that you can't separate race from gender or sexuality from class. All these identities overlap, and they impact how someone experiences oppression or empowerment. Lorde highlights that trying to fight only one type of injustice, like sexism, while ignoring others, like racism or homophobia, was not true liberation. Lorde's legacy is a call to consciousness, to own your voice. honor your identity, and use our differences as sources of strength, not division. May we all embody her famous quote, "I am deliberate and afraid of nothing."